Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Diego, why don't you maybe give us a little underscore there? Diego is one of our, that is Diego Saxi. There he is. And I asked him if we would start the show with Diego just playing a little something back there while anything you want, Diego. And I love it. That is the Pink Panther theme. There it is. So now let's check on the people coming in. We have Josephino is watching with you. Dana Joel Nicholson has joined us. And behind us is Diego Saxi. Come join us, Diego. Yeah. All right. That is Diego. He is our horn player tonight. We have horn players, and just scoot over a tiny bit. We were setting up the shot, and it's always crammed in here. And this is Lauren Elder, my friend Lauren Elder. She is a singer extraordinaire, and she also plays the ukulele. She is, I call her a Broadway starlet, because that's what she is. And today she came straight from her teaching job here, because that is the reality of a New York life, baby.
Yep.
So she came straight here. And also we have to, at some point in the show, Lauren, talk about this incredible whistling talent that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Because Lauren just won a competition for whistling, which I don't know anybody else that has done that. So let me explain to people that have never seen our show or heard our show. First of all, this is going on the radio, armeddigitalmedia.com, and that is Armed Radio. They are nice enough to run our show, and it runs right through there. So if you want to listen live, you can be doing that. It goes right across the country and to also 60 other countries. And we have all these great people that listen to us all over the world. And we love it, and we thank you for coming back week after week. Suzanne Mason has joined us. Leo Rodriguez has joined us. Jeffrey Campbell, Louis Goldberg, Ed Kutu, Tree Sequoia, Carla Ecole, John Bray so far.
Wow.
You're going to hear me doing this a lot. This is just people that are popping up on Facebook. So we thank you. People come in week after week. If you guys see one of your friends and you want to acknowledge them, please do.
All right.
Also, we'll save this video afterwards, and you folks can watch it as many times as you like. And please, right now, feel free to share it on your pages or to other pages if you like. Brendan Ryan has joined. My friend Brendan Ryan, I salute you, sir. He is a captain, and I salute him. So make one of these days, he plays amazing bagpipes. So, Brendan, we've talked about this, maybe closer to some Irish holiday. I don't know. What is it, St. Patty's you guys celebrate? We'll have to get you out. You're right. Kia Nelson. Kia's from Philly. Congratulations, Kia. You know I'm a Patriots fan, but your Eagles kicked butt, and you deserve it. Philly is a great city, so a big hand for Philly and their fans. Yay. It was a great game. All right, so let's start. Let's start with Lauren. Okay, I'm going to go back and forth. So, Lauren, you have been here. How many years have you been in New York?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I first moved here in August of 2001.
Okay.
And then I moved back to California in June of 2004.
See, I didn't know that. I know that because when you said first, I just thought you had been there the whole time.
No.
You moved back for a show, or you just moved back because you were like,
I moved back.
I need a break.
I needed a break.
Yeah.
I was working so many jobs and not doing any acting or music or anything. So I went back home for a couple of years, and I fell into a career at Whole Foods.
Okay.
I was
Why
doing
not?
marketing for them, which was really fun. But then I all of a sudden was like, what are you doing? And
you missed it, right? Is that what it was?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And my best friend got cast in Rent on Broadway, and I was like, wait a minute, if she can do it, I can do it. So
That's great.
So I picked up all my stuff and I moved back in 2006.
Okay.
And I've been here ever since, except for little stints going out of town to do shows.
All right. So I didn't know that about you. One of the things that I love about doing this show is I get to interview my friends, and I learn things about them that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I'm glad you talked about this because I didn't know this, but sometimes what happens in this city, or if you sometimes people move to Nashville to be songwriters, or California to be musicians, whatever it is. Sometimes you go and you start something and you have to take a break. You have to take a step back and kind of breathe and say, wait a minute, this is overwhelming, or I'm just spending money's just going out and not coming in, which happens a lot.
Happens.
We talked about that. And we always joke on the show about like having all these like 100 jobs and juggling, spinning plates, juggling balls. It's like you have to. It's the way to survive.
Yeah.
So we're all teachers as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the best ways I've found in the city to not just have a side job, but also connect with other human beings and give what you have received, right?
Yeah.
So Diego, let's switch over to you for a second.
Sure.
So you moved here from where?
I moved here from LA. March will be 6 years ago, and I found my niche here. New York City is definitely not easy to break into, but I came here with a dream. I wanted to elevate myself, and I found that I teach and.
Now you said that your parents are from Panama and Puerto Rico, right?
Right, Puerto Rico and Panama, but I was born on Eglin Air Force Base.
Because your dad was in the Air Force, right?
Right, back in 1980. My birthday is on Saturday. Hello.
Yay! Happy birthday, Diego.
So yeah, I'm about to be 15, and
Okay. So one of the things that we always mention our military, because we love our armed forces people, and Armed Radio is it's a lot of armed forces people, and we love them. So thanks to your dad for his service. And Lauren, you mentioned that your mom was in the Air Force?
No, my grandfather was.
Okay. So
he was an Air Force pilot. So
wow,
my mom, she actually graduated high school on an Air Force base in the Philippines.
Wow. So
yeah.
I love that. I always love the military stories, and we always love to mention them. Carla Icole has joined us. Hi, Carla. Hi, Maria. Your guest. We haven't seen you in a while, Carla. You just had a birthday. Happy birthday. Thomas Lineman from Boston has joined us. Hi, Thomas. Okay, so you both mentioned dreams right off the bat. So, Lauren, were you the kind of kid that knew you wanted to sing like right away? Were you that kid?
Yep.
And you were always on stage, I can imagine.
I was always singing. As soon as I figured out that I could get on stage, I did. And I haven't stopped ever since.
And you love that rush, right?
Yeah.
It's a great rush.
So
and you
much.
have nieces now too, right?
I have a niece and a nephew.
Right. And do they have that bug?
I'm not really sure yet. They love to sing. They love music. And my nephew loves to dance. And they're both big personalities. They love to perform.
Great.
They're doing The Little Mermaid at their elementary school.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Listen, it's never too young to start, and nothing is too small. It's like that. You have to start somewhere. Yeah. So Joe Savino asked, Lauren looks familiar. Joe is have you ever done any commercials or television, Lauren?
I've done TV.
Okay.
I was on Law and Order SVU.
Oh. There you go, Joe.
Hello.
I was also on Boardwalk Empire.
There you go, Joe. So Joe, maybe that's what it is. But so let's segue right into it. So Lauren, not when I first met you, but at one point where I knew you were on Broadway doing. Tell us about that show.
I've done 2 shows on Broadway. The first one was the revival of Hair,
Woo!
2009.
So great, I saw it.
Thank you.
Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. Liz Goldenberg took me. Thank you, Liz Goldenberg.
Yeah, thank you, Liz.
Where would I be without Liz Goldenberg?
Where would we all be without
I
Liz
know.
Goldenberg?
She's one of our great friends. She's very, very generous.
Yeah, and that's how I met her, was through Hair.
Okay.
And then my second show was the revival of Sideshow in 2014.
Sideshow, amazing show.
Thank you.
And you played the character of
the Venus de Milo.
How amazing is that?
I had no arms and I smoked a cigarette with my foot.
And you really did it?
Yeah, I really did.
It wasn't like a trick. You had to.
No, I really did it.
Was that part of the audition?
No. That's also its own story. I didn't really audition. I mean, I did, but I was the reader in the audition room for when they were casting the show.
Wow.
Because they wanted someone who could sing. Because the leading ladies are Siamese twins, and so they, sing every song together.
Right.
So they wanted someone who could sing with every girl that came.
So it was a job that you had a job as.
It was my side job, basically. I
didn't know this is such a great story.
Yeah. And
you're an amazing singer. I mean,
thank you.
You have some pipes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I spent 3 weeks in the audition room with the creative team, And at the end of it, they basically were like, well, we want to bring you too. So,
wow.
Yeah. So that
See?
was really cool.
So that to me is one of those stories. The moral of the story is be helpful, stay open.
Yeah.
Don't be so full of yourself that you're like, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather do
No.
that. You don't know. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Bobo has joined us. Susie Turgeon. Michael Bobo is going to be in the show. We loved Sideshow. They
Thanks,
loved it.
Michael.
I knew it. Okay, so Joe Savino knows you from Boardwalk. He saw
Boardwalk
you.
Empire.
Yep, which is a great show. Yay, Lena Katrakis. Hi, sweetheart. She has joined us. We got to get Lena on the show. She's doing an incredible thing in Greece, a singer's workshop. Lena, if you send me some stuff, I'll talk about it on the show next week as well, or you can come and talk about it. Tracy McHugh has joined us. All right, so I you know, one time I went to an audition, and I got a call back. And when I got to the call back, it was for a commercial. They said, "Oh, no, you weren't supposed to be called back," because it was like for a toll booth person and then taxi drivers. So they said, "We cut out the toll booth people. I'm so sorry." They felt terrible. So this is what I did. Rather than just turn around and go home and be angry, I said, "Okay, well, I'm here. I took the day off of work. Do you guys need any help with anything?" They were like, "Actually, we could use somebody to improv with cab drivers." So that's what happened. I started improvising with the cab drivers as a passenger. And don't you know that they rewrote the commercial and cast me in it as a passenger? So
What?
it's like what you were talking about. And I was like, you just don't know. So stay open, you know, try not to, sometimes things go in a different direction. Just be helpful. And sometimes you meet great casting people that may not use you for this, but they use you for something else.
Yep.
So Diego, let's shift over to you. So did you always play an instrument as a kid, or was it something later on that you, how does that happen? Could you tell me?
Yeah, so in elementary school we started out with the recorders, which I still can play that, and then in middle school I got more serious and picked up saxophone mainly.
Did you get to choose your instrument?
Yes, so I chose saxophone, but these days I like to play trumpet a bit more.
I love your sax. I've heard you
yeah.
play a lot of sax. That's why his name is Diego Saxi. That's his stage name. And I've heard you play that, but also you play beautiful trumpet.
Yeah, I'm in like
love it.
a bunch of salsa bands.
So let's mention those bands, Diego. Let's talk about those. You have written down. He's got a bunch of. So why don't you tell us which band you're in and how we can find you?
Well, I don't want to take too long.
Take it. This is your time.
I'm in
This is
about
what
like
we're doing.
15 bands, but
It's okay. Hit some
well,
highlights. Don't worry about it. This is what we're here for. We got time. We're good.
Yeah, so La Fuerza Positiva is a professional salsa band, and I play trumpet one part in that band. So we play at awesome venues like Gonzales y Gonzales.
That's a great place.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm also the music director for another salsa band, and I'm just in a bunch of.
We love it.
Specifically on trumpet, and then I started my own band. It's called Quantum Moonshine, and we're performing at a bunch of venues like Freddy's Bar, and actually Bowery Electric will be coming up. I'm still in the process of determining when that'll be. I'm also in a band called Mellow and Ello. My good friend Drew leads that. He's such an awesome young person.
See, look at all the likes.
He's
Yeah.
Mr. Mellow and Ello, he's not even of drinking age yet, but yet he's a music educator and a fantastic guitarist and band leader. So
Wow.
I'm actually quite happy to be in his band. What a solid young professional. We're performing at Thursday at the Well in Brooklyn at 10 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
My own band is performing at Freddy's Bar in Brooklyn at 10.
What's your own band called?
It's called Quantum Moonshine. So you'll
Quantum Moonshine. I love that.
So you'll find us at Freddy's Bar at 10 p.m. And Honk Festival is another one I'd like to give a shout out to. It's helped save people's lives through music. They tour all over the world and provide free street shows for activists.
Wow,
Activist
really?
bands. We can all merge together and then perform in select cities, such as the Northeast, as far as Australia and other parts of the world. So I'd like to give a shout out to all of you from Honk Fest as well.
Yay, I love that. All right, so these are positive. Diego and I were talking about this, Lauren. I'm sure you'll agree with us. one of the things when you go into schools, like I was lucky enough to go to a high school that had they had a great band program, they had a great drama department, chorus. But then when I started teaching in Brooklyn in the 90s, I was in the school that had nothing. They had no instruments, no choruses, and we went in as artists in residence and created these programs.
Wow.
So one of the things I want to put out here, and anybody that's out there that plays an instrument, because Lauren plays the ukulele, so we have to get her to play the ukulele. I'm so excited. Is I keep saying this, but I really want to get this going. If you are someone that has an instrument in your closet or somewhere that you're not using, or you know people that have instruments that they're not using, or you find them at yard sales, we have to find please let me know, is there a place that we can donate instruments that can go to schools?
Yeah.
Because Diego and I were talking about this before, earlier, we were just hanging out, and sometimes you were saying in Mexico, a lot of these trumpet players, right? They don't even have, tell me that story you were telling me about. Some of the best trumpet players come out of Mexico, right?
Yeah, some of the world's best trumpeters come out of Mexico, but these kids are so happy to have any sort of instrument. It could be, you know, a shabbily crafted instrument, but yet they make it sound so amazing.
Right.
And I'm just blown away at the level of dedication these kids are showing, and sometimes the cruel world that they live in, that they, you know, they hold music close to the heart, and that's quite profound.
Yep. And same thing in Cuba. I know in Cuba, like a couple years ago when we were starting the relations going back and forth, a lot of my friends that are artists and musicians and singers and dancers went over to Cuba to have these exchange programs of like teaching, and then they would bring their Cuban friends over and they would teach programs. So there was a lot of this, and they have nothing. They have no instruments, nothing to work with. So I'm putting it out there into the universe. I have so many great friends. If you have instruments, or you know people that do, or do you know a way that we can start this program of collecting instruments and donate, where would we donate them? Like a few years ago, I'm up in the Heights, and a few years ago I had all these baseball gloves that I collected over the years. And sometimes I would buy them on eBay for like, you know, like $10, $20, whatever, because I used to play a lot of softball. And I just had this box of gloves, and I was like, you know what? I was going to sell them again on eBay, and I thought, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk down to the park, which is 2 blocks from my house, with this box of gloves. And there was just a bunch of kids. And I was like, does anybody need a glove? Huh. You had to see their faces. They were so cute. First of all, they didn't go crazy. They just walked up really nicely. I was like, all right, I have these gloves. See what fits who. And I even had like 2 lefty gloves. And it was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Amazing. To be able to pass this on to kids and know that they have these gloves. So I want to do the same thing with instruments. So that's something we're putting out there. So Lauren, what was your growing up? Did you have a good program in school where you had a lot of stage time, or what was your experience like?
It was kind of off and on.
Okay.
We were in Southern California until I was in 5th grade. And I mean, that I was so young, like there were little school plays and everything, but I don't think that there was anything like too intense at that point. Then we moved to Pittsburgh for a couple of years, and they have so much money for the schools there.
Is that true?
And yeah, the theater program at the local high school where we were living was, I mean, it was professional.
Amazing.
Caliber.
Amazing.
And so that's when I really started doing musicals and fell in love with that. And I got into a kids performance troupe that is in the Pittsburgh area. And
you started off as a singer first, right? Or dancer? Because
singer actress. I mean, like I wanted to do both.
Yeah.
But,
and did you have like Broadway in your mind? Like or were you just like having fun? Or were you one of these kids that's like, when I grow up, I want to be on Broadway?
I don't think I really completely understood the concept of Broadway when I was young. We saw the touring company of Cats when I was 7, and that was definitely life-changing. Wow. I got to sit in the 2nd row on the aisle, and so like all the cats came up to me, and that was phenomenal. And that's when I started like putting on my own shows in my living room and in my garage.
And imagination is amazing.
Yeah, right? But I didn't really understand. I don't think I really just understood that it was something that you could do. I just knew that I wanted to do it right then.
And
And
when
so-
did you understand that? So when was it that you were like, you know what, I'm going to move to New York and I'm going to audition or I'm going to take classes or whatever a person does?
When I was in middle school or high school, I probably realized that I wanted to be an actor, and it was kind of half and half split between New York and LA in my
Okay.
mind. And we
Well,
ended
because a
up,
lot of stuff films out in LA, right?
yeah, and I love TV and film
Yeah,
too.
so
So,
Well, you have the look for that.
thank you.
You have, I mean, really, you
Facts.
have one of those amazing looks that you could be put in film, TV, soaps, and you have a very all-American look,
Thank you.
right? That really is like, oh, who is that? Like Joe just did it. He was like, I know her. So you have to have one of
That's
those.
awesome.
You have one of those great faces.
Thank you so much.
It's true. So let's check in with our friends here. Kimberly Travis. Hi, Kimberly. Yvette Bloom has joined us. Julie Cesari. Hi, Julie. Julie's out in LA. Love Julie. George Hernandez. Hi, George Hernandez. Rona. Hi, Rona. All these wonderful people that join us week after week. We appreciate you coming back. So once again, we're on armdigitalmedia.com if you want to listen live on the computer. That's a radio station. And you can watch us on Facebook. We're here every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. And then I save the video. You can go back and watch it. And also it goes into podcast on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. It's a great podcast house. So please go and listen to it there. And if you have the iHeartRadio app, go to that app. Give it about 12 hours after the show's done. And then just type in on your, what's the story with Maria? And all the episodes will come up. This is episode 30. So, yeah, cool, right? So, Diego, you play how many instruments now?
I don't know, but it's all of the wind instruments except for flute and bassoon, and I tinker around on piano too.
Okay, and you mentioned the oboe. I only know one other person that plays the oboe. That's a beautiful instrument.
Sure. So yeah, in college, I got to play lots of English horn solos, which that's essentially a large oboe in the key of F. So that's where I got my head start on that and fell in love with that instrument.
Wow. And do you have one that's more dear to your heart? It does depend on the day.
Depends on the day, but I think because I play a lot of salsa music on trumpet,
Yeah.
that's actually taking
my God.
taking over. There's something magical about they just want to hear brilliant trumpet sounds, and then they're just dancing, and I almost want to
love
put
it.
down my horn and dance with them.
I know.
I
It's
have to
really
keep my
infectious.
composure. It really is.
You know, I didn't know much about salsa, and maybe about 10 years ago, I was really kind of more introduced to it. And Judy Mesa introduced me. She's Cuban, and I really fell in love with it. And then I started listening to Mark Anthony, which I didn't know much about Mark Anthony. I just knew that I love J-Lo. So wherever J-Lo goes, I usually will be like, oh, what's J-Lo doing these days? But when there's a movie called, and I'm sure you've seen it, El Cantante. What it means is the singer, and that's Spanish for the singer. It's called El Cantante. It's in English, but there's subtitles and things like that in Spanish, and they speak some Spanish. But it's the story of Hector Lavoe, who was really the father of salsa. And he was Puerto Rican descent, and Mark Anthony plays him, and J-Lo plays his wife. It's an incredible movie. I get chills talking about it because it would have just passed me by. But Judy was like, no, you have to watch this movie. And it tells you the story of salsa, and it's so many horns, right? So, Lauren, when you did Sideshow, I'm sorry, not Side, because Sideman is the trumpet, right? When you did Sideshow, what were some of the predominant, like in the pit, where was some, it's strings, right? There's a lot of strings, would you say? And I mean, what's in the orchestra there?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about it.
we had everybody. I think we had strings and horns and drums. We had a good sized orchestra for that show. It was pretty incredible.
And that's our buddy Bill Russell wrote that show.
Yay, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is one of the most, first of all, he's so talented, but he's so humble.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the most gifted composers, right?
He's the
lyricist.
book writer, books
right.
and lyrics, and Henry Krieger wrote the music.
Thank you. Right. But
Incredible
he's so, yes, and
Mm-hmm.
he's so kind.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
experience and exchange I've had with Bill Russell, He's so incredibly kind. One time he burned the CD for me of this album that I loved. We both loved this particular album, and it was out of print. And he said, "Oh, you know what? Hold on. I can convert it to CD for you." And he did. Can you believe that? And then
I
delivered it to my job.
can.
That's a Broadway lyricist and book writer.
Yep.
Bill Russell. We love
We
Bill
love
Russell.
Bill.
So okay, so much is happening there. So Lauren, now when did you pick up the ukulele?
I started doing that in about 2000. Well, I guess 2009, I had an audition that I needed to play the ukulele for. So I learned like a song, but then it just sat around until about 2011 when I had like a song in my heart that had to come out. And I didn't know what I was doing at all. And I just picked up the ukulele and I moved my fingers around until they were in places that I liked the sounds of.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of what I do with the guitar.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, someone will tell you, oh, that's a G or a C or that's an A sus, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who has played with me knows that I have no idea what I'm playing.
Me too.
And they all have to tell me and figure it out.
I love that though, because then you're finding chords that you love.
Yeah.
And I'll just, let me just check on the time first. I'll create, I love that you do that. Well, you know why? Because you're a Gemini. I'm a Gemini too.
Yeah.
We always talk about being Geminis. Let me check. So we're good for now. I always have to kind of scroll up because we have other people and then I miss them. Richard Koek. Hi, Richard. Richard is an amazing photographer who is he just released a book and it's selling like crazy. He's going to be on our show, I think in March or April. Richard and I will let you know about that. I can't wait. His stuff is so amazing.
All right.
Yes. So that is good stuff. Okay. So let's shift over. I want to talk about your whistling because just please tell us about that. Because when I saw it on Facebook, I'm like, because I love to whistle and women don't whistle.
No, I know.
I wonder why that is.
Well, women were told not to whistle back, I don't know, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
I went to Catholic school and I remember whistling. I learned to whistle in like first grade and I was so excited. So we used to whistle in the hallways and the nun said, "Ladies don't whistle, Miss Gentili." And I said, "Then I'm not a lady." And you know what? Who knew? I mean, that was some foresight right there. But I think I got suspended for that. It was like, you don't talk to the nuns like that. And women don't whistle. So I was like, yay, another whistler. So tell me about this. How did it start?
So my dad is a whistler and he taught me how to whistle when I was about 4 years old.
Oh my God, this is so great. She's so great.
And I would whistle all the time. I would get in trouble in
like
school.
Melodic whistles or like wolf whistles?
No, melodic.
Okay, melodic whistles.
Like, like how Bing Crosby whistles in the Christmas recordings?
Yes, I love it.
That is like, that's like how my dad whistles, and that's like my main whistle inspiration probably is that sound.
And Billy Joel has it on The Stranger, right? Yep.
Yeah, and now Andrew Bird, he's like my favorite current musician. He's a whistler and a violin player. He's incredible. Look him up if you don't know him.
What's his name again?
Andrew Bird.
Bird, B-I-R-D, like the flying bird.
But around the same time that I, started playing my ukulele and making up chords, that's when I really started to embrace my whistle, because I'd never like really let people know that I did it because it wasn't ladylike. So
I know,
because
whistling
is so beautiful.
I love it. I do it all the time.
Yeah, me too.
And my friend Greg Schlotthauer, who's on this show now, he's touring. He's doing, I think he might be on a cruise ship. One of his first album, he asked me to whistle a melodic whistle on one of his songs. And this was like 10 years ago. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you have a really good whistle. And it wasn't until I saw you. So Lauren, is there any way we can get you to whistle a little bit? Do a little whistling, or is it too much? We didn't really prepare.
I'd be happy to, but I could do it all with the uke.
Yes, please.
Or cool.
Whatever you prefer. You are our champion whistler. And then we want to know about this competition. So this is, my God, I'm so excited.
I started writing music. And since it was just me and a ukulele, I felt like it needed to have more. Just like something else with it. And so that's when I really like put my whistle into my music, and I got better and better because I was whistling all the time. And
I love it.
Should I do a song with singing and whistling?
Whatever
or
you
just-
like. Whatever you
Oh
like.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, you know what? I'm going to
All right.
step out of frame as
Oh,
Diego
okay.
will step out.
Oh,
And we were
bye,
going to let you
guys.
have
Okay.
your stage.
I'm gonna, like,
Ladies and
scoot up a
gentlemen,
little.
we give you Lauren Elder, champion whistler.
Sometimes it's all about someone wanting you. Sometimes it's just about having something to do. But with you, it's something more. Since the day that I met you, my feet haven't touched the floor. Why can't I tell you all of these things I feel? I'm scared that you will run far away from me. Or would you say you feel them too? Just let me kiss you while I decide what to do. Oh, what'll I ever do? I'm so in love with you, with you. Sometimes you want the thing that you just can't have. Sometimes the one you want doesn't want you back. But then love comes along. Maybe my love will find me when I finish this song.
Yay! That was
Thank
amazing.
you.
That was exquisite whistling.
Thank you so
Oh
much.
my God! I thought that was just going to be pretty melodic, but that was, I've never heard
Well-
anything so beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't know that was possible. It sounded like an instrument.
And it also
Like,
sounded
well,
like
it
there
was
were
an
two
instrument, yeah.
whistles happening at once, like almost like harmony, almost. It was really amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
One
you.
more time, and Rizzo,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cute. Rizzo came to join us.
Rizzo clapped too. See?
Rizzo was so moved. She loves the guitar, and she
Aw.
loves that like strings. When I play the guitar, she
Bless
always
you.
mellows out. So she walked over, and she also loves whistling. You know, dogs love when you whistle, and that's how you get their attention. So she walked over. Rizzo, that was beautiful, right? She got groomed. I want to show you how pretty she looks. Does it? Rizzo looks so pretty today. She
does
got
look
groomed.
Beautiful.
She looks
Super
great.
cute.
She's very cute. All right. Thank you, Lauren,
You're
for
so
doing
welcome.
that. That was really beautiful. So, Diego, you're going to have to, I mean, now we have about 20 minutes left for our show, but you're going to have to play us out, I think. Maybe we'll have to get you to Do you have to build your trumpet, or is it already built?
Oh, well, it's already
ready?
well, it's just kind of cold and
Okay.
but yeah.
All right. So maybe since you started with the sax, we'll move you that way, and we'll play it.
Yeah.
You'll have to play something
Sure.
on the trumpet. We love it. So, okay, we're going to switch over to the food segment of our show, which, we have a food segment called Go Ahead, Keep Eating. That's the name of that segment. So I always ask my guests, if they have dietary restrictions, or sometimes people are vegetarians, sometimes there's always something, right? So usually I find in January and February, people are eating healthier. It just is one of those things. So Lauren said she wasn't eating certain things, so I went with healthy. And what our food is tonight, although I have a secret stash I'm going to put Rizzo down for a minute. So this is what I made for us. This is just our display plate. I have a ton of it. I made a delicious salad with red leaf lettuce and some orange sweet peppers, and there's cucumbers in there, and grilled chicken with garlic, a little white wine, some cumin, and some basil. Yeah, so it's really good. And that is what we are having. I have a secret stash of meatballs for Diego because I'm always trying to fatten him up.
Well,
Always.
I'm already too fat.
No, you are not. Always. I don't know. I have this thing with boys. Maybe it's a mommy thing. I always want to fatten boys up. And also, this is our dessert. I know. Don't worry, Lauren. I'm going to throw them right out. It's just a display plate. They're just plastic. So Leo Rodriguez, our friend Leo Rodriguez, I know.
Right?
He was here for the Super Bowl, and he brought Girl Scout cookies. So these are Girl Scout cookies. We're just going to smell them. That's it.
Yeah.
You will
Totally.
eat them for us, and we will just smell them. Okay, so yeah, I always find, let me just check. Peggy Bauman has checked in. Kathy Roy Spees, she is my boss in Morristown at the Male Performing Arts Center. She's not just my boss, she's the director of education, and she directs these gigantic productions that they do there, usually between 60 and 80 people on stage. It's like amazing. So Kathy's going to be doing that. They're doing Shrek this year.
Nice.
I think they're doing Shrek. I hope I didn't give it away, Kathy. Maybe that was a secret. I don't know. Judy has joined us. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
How's it going, honey bunny? She said, hi, Rizzo. Donald Wisman. Hi, Donald Wisman. Peggy Bauman. So many great things. So a lot of girls, while you were playing and whistling, a lot of girls were chiming in that they whistle too. So all these closet whistlers are coming out.
Come out of the closet.
These female closet whistlers. I love it.
Nice.
Whistling is so great. My mother loved to whistle too, but it was like,
Yeah, my mom is good at whistling too.
and your dad, right?
Mhm.
So you have like good whistling genes.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get, and on some people, they're
It's
adults
bound
and
to happen.
they can't whistle at all.
Yep.
That's sometimes at auditions they ask you if you can like they want a wolf whistle, like one of those, or like a taxi. I don't know how to do that. Where
I
people
can't
do
do
that.
that
I
one.
can't do that one. I'm amazed
do that
when
one.
they're blasting.
I think you have to
that,
be
and I'm
born
like,
in New
wow.
York to do that. Yeah, I think I don't know too many women that can
Yeah.
wolf whistle like. I mean, they call that a cab hailing whistle
Cab hailing.
because there's different kinds of whistles, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
there
So-
absolutely are.
If anybody out there can do a cab hailing whistle, let us know. Darcy Blakesley has checked in. She's out in Cali. She was on the
Alright.
show. She's a marathon runner and a great singer.
Wow.
So lots of great things happening. All right. So what do you, Diego, you told us about the places that you're playing in with all these bands. So do they contact you, or do you just find each other in clubs and then people exchange numbers? How does that work with trumpet players?
Well,
And
I got in with one salsa band, and then all of a sudden, someone's like, "We should sub you in another band," and then boom, it just
that's how it
snowballed.
happens.
Networking is super important,
Have you ever heard of Art? He's my favorite musician in New York. He's Cuban. His name is Arturo O'Farrell. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah, there's.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
gosh, there's lots of great.
Oh my God. He is a
Oh,
band
yeah.
leader, and he puts together these. I went to the Red Rooster. Do you know where the Red Rooster is? It's in Harlem.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh my God. And I didn't know. I went in. It's really beautiful. And then you go downstairs. It's one of my favorite spots in the city. And downstairs they have this you can eat and stuff, but then musicians, like, I don't know how many musicians they can get in there, but the way he had it set up was they were around the people dining.
Oh,
So they
wow.
literally, the musicians were surrounding you, and
Wow.
you would know from time to time. He would just point, and then all of a sudden they'd be like like a Japanese drummer, like big drums, like they would just appear. And then there were so many horns and just like amazing things. I never saw anything like it. So he's at Birdland a lot. He's like my favorite musician in the city, and he's Cuban. He does a lot of great stuff. So Kathy says it's okay to talk about. So Shrek, they're doing Shrek out at the Mayo Performing Arts Center out in Morristown, and I'm sure they'll start having auditions. They do these epic. They did West Side Story last year, epic productions.
Nice.
So Lauren, what would you say? Which direction is your life heading in these days? Are you doing more television, more auditioning for musicals? What?
Right now it's been more musicals.
Okay.
I've been involved in like the developmental process of a few really cool musicals.
That's really great.
And one of them will be having like an out of town production this year. I'm not allowed to say really any more than that.
Don't get in trouble.
Yet.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
But soon it'll all be announced, and you'll get to be like, "Yay, that's gonna be great!"
So, like workshop stages.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
we're in workshop stages, and yeah, it's really exciting.
Well, that's how it happens, you know. Like you hear about these like little shows and workshop, and then the next thing you know, they're like
on Broadway,
and they're spectacular. Like that's what I remember. Like I knew this girl named Daphne Rubin Vega 20 years ago. That was just doing this little workshop in this show called Rent that nobody knew about. And then the same thing with Hamilton. You know, Justin Gregory Lopez, we'll have to have him on the show. Same thing. All these great friends of ours that are just doing workshops, and then you know they end up on Broadway and stuff. So okay, and so I want to, what if you could say anything to like there, because we're all teachers. What are some thoughts that you want to leave? We got about 15 minutes left. So what are some thoughts that you would leave young minds with about performing and living in the city, or any, you know, when it's so easy to get frustrated and just throw in the towel, right?
Yep. I would say don't compare yourself to anyone else.
Wonderful.
Because we are all on our own journey. We are all on our own path. And to take that even further is when your friends have successes, you should celebrate that and be excited.
I agree 100%.
Because that means that it can happen to you.
Right. Abundance.
You know, the closer it gets to you, the more chance you have of it happening for you. So
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Thank you. That was wonderful. And Diego, what would you tell young musicians that are like, oh, this is not going to work, or I don't know, or should I even try this instrument? What's the best thing as a musician that you learned that helped you through the hard times?
Well, I feel there's an instrument for everybody, really. Our physiology is different. And so we just need to find a match. I think there's an instrument for everybody. And, you know, sometimes we get in a slump. We don't want to practice. We're stressed out, homework or whatnot, but keep pushing through it. You know, it's that pushing through it that's going to really get you ahead.
What was the most frustrating thing for you as a musician as far as practicing? Was it scales, or was it other things? Was it harder things, or?
Well, sometimes these routine things like scales that we need to do can become kind of boring, but you can change up the rhythm and, you know, things like that and make it fun, but you still need to come back to these fundamentals, or if not, just stop and play something fun on, you know, you hear something fun on the radio, improvise to it or something, you know.
Absolutely.
Do what you got to do
100%.
to just keep going, you know.
You know what? One of the things that I love so much is like when I watch a movie, it is the music that will manipulate my emotion. I don't know if I'm super plugged into it because I am a singer and I am a songwriter, but that is what always will move me in a certain direction. So what I would say to, like, if you're an aspiring musician, or maybe a secret musician, or maybe you don't even play an instrument, but you're like, I don't know, how important could a musician be? Here's your project. If I were your teacher, this is what I would tell you. Okay, kids, here's your homework. The next 3 movies that you watch, I want you to pay attention to the music under the scenes and write notes and how it made you feel, how it changed your emotion. That is my homework for you this week. So, and you don't have to be a kid. You could be an adult as well. But I always find that that's when I start to cry in a scene or start to get nervous, like, oh my God, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen. And someone will say, well, how do you know? I'm like, listen to the music. Something's coming.
Yep.
And I love that. And one of the things I loved about like 70s film was trumpets and sax was really big. Like in all those Martin Scorsese's, if you listen to, there was always like sax and trumpet. And it moved me, and it reminded me of New York. And it was one of the reasons I wanted to move here. So when I hear a horn player, and you're one of those people I love, it moves me. It's true. I love you. And I hear that, and I feel like there's something infused in you that is like you're a vehicle for something that I need to hear, that keeps me in the city, that reminds me of when I was a kid watching those movies, like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here, So whatever it is for you, that connects you to that feeling of like, this is my calling, or this is something that I'm meant to be part of artistically. I think just keep doing it, things like that. So let me see what we have for time. Okay, so we got a good 10 minutes left. All right, so we want to say hi to some of our friends. Let me see. Christopher Crosby has joined. Michael Dion. Hi, Michael Dion. How are you, honey? Michael is managing a restaurant now on 2nd Avenue, I think. I think it's called Panange. So write that in, Michael. I know it's on your page, so we'll have to go see Michael. Adam Chandler. Hi, Adam Chandler.
Hi, Adam.
Caitlin Rose Cantrell has joined us. We have so many wonderful people. So I have a lot of amazing people coming on the show in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. We're here every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. What's the Story with Maria? We're having so much fun. Thank you to Armed Digital Media. And what I want to start to close the show on, and then Diego, you're gonna have to play us out as we is how would you say? So we heard about your family, and they influenced you because they were musical, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Does your dad play an instrument?
No one in my family plays an instrument besides me, but there was always music on. We were always singing along.
Did you sing in the car and all that stuff too?
Yeah, lots of singing in the car.
Yeah, and what was some of the music that your parents loved?
Well, there was a lot of classical music playing, but then lots of like folk music when I was growing up. My parents loved James Taylor, and Paul Simon, and Carly Simon, and Carole
absolutely.
King. Like all that was playing as when I was a kid, and so that. Oh, and Harry Nilsson. He's a huge influence, inspiration in my life.
I love that you said that. Our friend Michael Isaacs.
Oh, yeah.
Who's our mutual friend who we love, who is my favorite person to work with and play with. And Lynn Portis. I love them equally for different reasons. Mm-hmm. But Michael Isaacs tonight, Tuesday nights, if you're looking for something to do, Michael Isaacs works at Brandy's, which is on East 84th Street between 2nd and 3rd. He and LaDonna Burns and Justin Gregory Lopez. That's the usual, and sometimes they sub out, but they play at Brandy's until like the wee hours. So if after the show you're looking for something really fun to do, go see Michael. He loves, that's his big inspiration, Nilsson.
Yep. Harry
Nilsson. And if you're looking for, just go back and listen. He, what's that? I don't know. To your place I'm going. Only the echoes.
Actually, he didn't write that song.
Oh, though. Really?
That's like the song that he's most famous for. But he didn't write that song.
When I think of him, I think of that. But there's so many amazing things that he did.
Yeah. He wrote songs for everybody else, and he was like best friends with the Beatles. But my favorite album of his is The Point, which it has kind of a story.
Me and My Arrow.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
That's him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like one of my all-time favorite albums of life.
Okay, so The Point, Harry Nilsson, and this is great for kids, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, really adults can enjoy it too, but I loved it as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know that was him. Yeah. Wow, Lauren, you just schooled me. I love it. And how about your parents? What did they listen to, Diego, that influenced you think? Because I think we learn from our parents so much what they love. My dad was a huge jazz guy, so all my jazz influence, and he loved like R&B. So I loved that stuff, How about your family?
Well, sure. My mom, she listens to a lot of Latin music, which is it's always just so, it seems to be very lively, and you have no choice but
Fun,
to dance.
yeah.
So
It's so much fun.
yeah, so with the state of the world we're in, I think music can be a positive catalyst. So
Absolutely.
Latin music happens, salsa, Latin, all of that seems to be a positive catalyst.
And if you don't know anything, like, cause I wasn't exposed to that as a kid. I'm Italian, and well, I had a lot of music in my life, but I wasn't exposed to salsa until I came to New York. And then just like maybe 10 years ago, I really fell in love with it. It's as you listen to new things, you fall in love with new things. So try listening to different kinds of music as well.
Yeah.
From different parts of the world. That's always like amazing. I find, I just find that it's just like so nice. You can always learn. It doesn't matter how old you are. There's always something new in the world to learn. Carly Bell has joined us. Jessica Schaefer. Oh my God. Jessica Schaefer is an amazing singer. Jessica, you should come on the show. She's an amazing singer. Her whole family's musical. They're like really cute. All right. Adam Chandler says his parents love John Denver and the Carpenters and Earth, Wind and Fire. Yeah.
Can't go
So
wrong.
Good stuff.
today I discovered Earth, Wind and Fire radio on iHeartRadio. And it's a great station that has all that great, like, soulful, cool stuff. So, sometimes just go to like one of these great, go to iHeartRadio and type in a band that you like or that your parents liked, and it'll play all the stuff that kind of sounds like it. And you'll just be like moved to do different things, So, anyway, Diego, we are coming towards the end of our show. We have about 5 minutes left. So why don't you get your trumpet ready?
All right.
And I'm going to have you stand in the background there. I'm setting up the shot. I'd like to take as much advantage of my friends as possible. Peggy, okay, so I'm just looking at some of the things that people are writing. So if you're looking for Diego Saxy, DiegoSaxy, you're going to look for him on Facebook and Google. And Lauren Elder, spell your name, Lauren.
LaurenElder.
And do you have a website?
I do. LaurenEldermusic.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on iTunes and Spotify. I'm everywhere, all over the internet.
Everywhere. And how about a Sideshow? Was there a recording of when?
Oh yeah, there's a cast recording of Sideshow. There's a cast recording of Hair. And my debut album came out last year. So
how do we get your debut album?
iTunes, Spotify.
What's the name of the album?
Lauren Elder.
I love it. How easy is that?
It's got my ukulele and the whistling. The song you heard earlier is on it. So
I can't
if you
believe
like that, you can get it.
We love Lauren Elder and Diego Saxy. Thank you so much. So we're going to wind down. We love you guys. Diego, play us out, honey. Choose anything you like.
Okay.
We're going to play us out, and I am just going to maybe say goodbye to some people and all that. Hit it, Diego. Oh, I had him choose the instrument that wasn't warmed up. Thank you for joining What's the Story with Maria. We love you. Come back next week.